Hey guys, it'd be wicked smart of you to go to podcastmoviepodcast.com and check out our shit. Enjoy our episode.
And welcome back to your episode of Podcast, the movie, the podcast. Love that intro, don't you? Hell yeah.
Worst.
Like I'm
Already
a professional here.
Professional
host.
idiot.
I am your host today, Mr. Tyler Weiss. And as always, or as sometimes, I have with me Mr. Austin Newell.
Hey, it's your boy coming at you live.
I got Mr. Ruby McCormick
Hey, what's up?
and Mr. Logan Henderson.
Yeah, I had to call in last night, but I came in today. Excited to be here.
Glad to see you're here with us, man. Glad to see you're here with us. I mean,
I
we
also
can't see
wanted
you,
to.
but
I
you're
also
here with
wanted
us.
to give a shout out and just apologize for the birds on the last podcast. I got new birds.
You had
and,
birds?
They
You
were
have
were
birds?
next to me.
What happened to the old birds?
They're dead
No,
now.
I mean they're the same birds, but
Oh,
I mean
okay.
they were next to the desk, and from what I heard from our lovely audio engineer Logan, is that there was a lot of bird chirping on my recording. Wouldn't you believe? I had no idea.
I
So
felt like
they're
I was
no
at a
longer,
goddamn zoo. I was like, man.
they're no longer next to me. They're in the other room, so we will not hear them at all. So don't worry, birds won't be a problem this time.
No
Hey,
birds.
can we get an
Beautiful.
exclusive shot of the birds, like on the Twitter or on the Instagram?
Do you want
We'll
me to
post
take
it
like
on
a
the,
family
Yeah.
the
shot?
non-existent
official-
Instagram? Yeah.
No, we need that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need that badly.
We need that badly.
We can just send Tyler photos, and he can just post them to it.
There you go.
That'd be
There you
perfect.
go. So, real quick, I say real quick, but I know this is going to be like a
See you guys in an hour.
40-minute long dissertation.
Here we go.
So, Lil, what have you guys been doing over this last week?
Hey, let me just get right in here.
I was going to
Just real
say,
quick,
Ruby,
I didn't
you're
go
first,
last
buddy.
week. I realized I didn't go last time. No spoilers, but are you guys caught up on WandaVision?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Absolutely not.
I'm not,
Yeah.
but I will tell you, I finally watched the first episode the other day and enjoyed it.
Okay.
So,
Listen,
Yeah.
yep. And I keep
Let
seeing
me-
people like getting hyped on Twitter,
Let
so I'm
me,
like,
let
I
me
gotta.
tell you something, man. This last episode, and I don't know if this is the end of the show or if this is
Nope.
another
One
one's
more.
coming next week. One more next week. Listen.
One more, 53 minutes long.
Oh boy.
Yep.
This is good content. Okay.
It is good, dude.
And I like movies. Okay, I'm a Wes Anderson guy. I like Kevin Smith stuff, but you've got to occasionally throw out the popcorn for the action comic book movies. Okay, but there
Yep.
is something about WandaVision that is done so well as just the generic tropes and the callbacks and just the appreciation of television as a period piece of culture, and then the way they tie it into this last episode and then tie it into Age of Ultron. Again, no spoilers. Just
Man, do I gotta
You should
rewatch
stop
all
talking.
the damn movies?
no,
No.
you don't. Just
I've
watch
seen Age of
WandaVision.
Ultron one time.
That's fine.
So,
watch it once.
Let me tell you from the standpoint, because I've watched all of the Marvel everythings, and maybe if it's just the one time, my wife has not
My wife.
seen. My wife has maybe seen 3 of the entirety of the MCU,
Yeah.
and she was excited about WandaVision, and we've watched the entire series together.
yeah, same.
So far.
So Kaylee has not really watched any of the MCU.
Yep.
She's seen some Iron Man. She's not seen any of the Avengers movies.
Yep.
Maybe the first one. But WandaVision, she's like, "Ooh, is WandaVision out tonight? Is that tonight or tomorrow? When are we watching it?" Like she's ready to watch it. It's
Yeah.
just
Do you do the same thing where something will happen and then you have to pause it and be like,
Yeah, you got to
So-
mansplain it. So I
I don't really call that mansplaining.
no. What are you, a liberal? Listen, here's what happens. As soon as something happens, I pause it. I go, hold on, listen. So in 2015,
Me too.
at
Me
the
too.
second act, 1 hour
Yep.
and 20 minutes in,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
for sure. But
man, yeah, she loves it. I love it. Yeah, incredible show.
Please stick with it though, Logan. There's a turning point in the show where everything kind of starts clicking, and you're going, "What?" Like, because that's what I did. I don't know.
Yeah, I plan on it, and I just want to interject with a little thing that I mentioned to you guys before we started recording that I wanted to talk about. I'll let you get back to talking about what else you watched. When I watched the first episode, it made me want to go back and watch a couple Marvel movies. So I watched a couple of the ones that I like, old reliables that I like to go back and watch. I watched Captain America, the first one, and I watched Civil War, and I've watched some clips on YouTube as well from like Infinity War and Endgame. And I watched the clip at the end of Endgame where they all, on your left. And I remember how I felt in the theater when that happened. And like I literally cried. And I was like, was that weird for me to cry at that point? But I was thinking back.
No, bro.
And the first Marvel movie, not counting the Hulk that came out, was in 2007, right? Iron Man 1 came out. And I was 12 years old, right? So I was just a little kid when it came out, and I literally grew up watching all these movies. Like, I remember specific points when movies came out. I was at a marching band competition, and we were in an intermission between performances, and we were watching the first Captain America, and then later on we went to the state competition and we watched Thor when it came out there, and then we watched the Avengers the next year, and then I was doing another thing with some friends and we all got together and watched this one, and it just like I have so many impactful memories from each movie and growing up with those characters. I felt like I was the perfect age to really be into it and to grow up with it, and I realized like there's nothing else like the MCU. Like, it's unique in its how big it is and expansive it is and how long that it's lasted. So
the fucking scope of that thing is incredible.
It really
and the
is.
fact that they've been able to keep it going for as long as they have, and it's not like I don't see it, stepping down or losing steam at any particular point in time. It's just continued to build and build and build. And the way that it has branched off now on Disney Plus into this whole thing where we're watching WandaVision, and then there isn't a week that's going to be coming up, the next like year and a half where we're not going to get some type of original Marvel content, whether it is Winter Soldier and the Falcon, whether it is Loki. I mean, there's so much original content that's
Black
coming
Widow
out
movie.
Right
I think was
Black
supposed
Widow
to already
movie.
be out.
Yeah, we're supposed to have already seen that.
If you guys have a chance here in the Discord, not the listeners, but you guys, click on General in the chat real quick and look at this shot that I posted. There he goes. The General text. Just going down it real quick. I mean, we've got WandaVision here, right? Less than a month away. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, then Black Widow, Loki, Shang-Chi, What If, Eternals, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and Wasp, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, like it's
Holiday
not
Special,
stopping anytime soon.
Guardians
There's
of the Galaxy.
tons of stuff coming out.
Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Armor Wars, Fantastic Four, Blade,
Like,
I Am Groot.
I really
Deadpool
think
3.
that the cool thing about Disney Plus is it gives them the chance to get into these really weird and like interesting stories that they can tell, like WandaVision, that you wouldn't normally be able to do in like a movie situation,
Right.
So that's why I'm the most excited about the shows. I'll watch the movies. I'm going to be going to the theater and watching the movies, hopefully, whenever we can do that again.
Invest in AMC.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not your financial advisor. He just likes the stock.
I just like the stock, and I'm not a cat.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I'm probably going to spend some time. I'm going to catch up on WandaVision. I'm going to do it in a day. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or
it's worth it.
But we'll see.
They're only like 30 minutes.
Yeah, definitely got to do it. It's just
they're only
really
30-minute episodes?
Yeah,
some of them
like
can
20
push.
minutes, 30 minutes
some of them like
long.
22 minutes, 30 minutes.
It's very Mandalorian.
I could catch up that shit tomorrow.
It's a traditional, like it literally goes through the timeline of like American TV where it's like
You
the
can't
60s,
say
70s.
that's yep. Shh. No spoilers.
I mean, that's the trailer. That's literally
I know,
the trailer.
no spoilers. No
But yeah.
spoilers.
It's great.
Yeah,
I think I'll
incredible
watch
show.
it. I think I'll watch it tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow, so I could catch up it.
And make sure not every single episode, but some of the episodes you have to skip through the credits. There are scenes like classic Marvel.
Are we
so far
like,
it's
new to
episode
Marvel?
7 and 8 that are after credit scenes.
Oh man, I'm just excited. I'm just ready.
It's good stuff.
But
Yeah, good stuff.
other than WandaVision, guys, like on my end, I've actually been going back. I think I mentioned this last time. I'm just binging 30 Rock again. You know, and it's a period piece for sure. So whereas The Office does not feel like as dated, 30 Rock has some moments that are kind of, you had to have grown up in it or have been there. There's some very weekly, like Family Guy jokes in a way. You know, Family Guy has those moments where it's like they'll reference something that happened, and if you didn't understand it then, it's not funny ever again.
Right.
And 30 Rock does that quite a bit, but it's relevancy and culture of, you know, the entire behind the scenes of NBC Studios. I think it's done really well. But there are some jokes, you know, and looking back at this on some of the comments you've seen on Twitter and everything, I think Tina Fey did have some kind of risky jokes in the show that probably aren't up to today's standards. Just her use of calling people homo and stuff like that. I'll be honest, it's hilarious, but just not appropriate. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's a different time, man.
Different
You know?
time
Different
for
time.
sure.
Yep.
I mean, it's the same with Michael Scott. You know, I mean, Michael Scott's very his jokes may not land in today's settings, but because of when it was released, like, it's just funny. It's a jab, right? It's satire. So, but I've been binging 30 Rock, caught up on WandaVision completely finally, and what's
That's
up with
awesome.
you guys?
Yeah, Austin, what you got, man?
I honestly haven't really watched virtually anything outside of the movie.
That's so not Austin.
Hey, Austin,
I know.
Austin, I have 2 movies for you that you might want to check out that Tyler brought me upon.
Is it Terminator 2?
Oh, actually, that's a good one, dude. You should watch Terminator 2. No, I'm talking The Velocipaster.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Listen, he is
I
a
think-
pastor.
Listen, man, I went into the break room today and I texted in our group message, and I don't even remember the name of the movie, but there was some
Broken
movie,
Arrow.
Broken Arrow, that was playing on the TV, and I walked in.
John
And-
Travolta.
It's
Christian Slater.
I was not impressed by the bits and pieces I saw of that trash. And then I literally texted that in our group message, and not a minute later, Tyler comes busting into the break room, and he's like, "That's a great movie. It has this person and that person."
course.
and
That's
just
so
starts
fucking
going.
Weiss. That is so Weiss. Just has to defend every movie ever made.
I don't defend every movie. I just
you-
look. I grew up loving that movie. I know it's terrible. God, I know it's terrible. But you know, it's one of those terrible nostalgia-filled movies. So you know, shit, man, I'm there.
So, you know, and I haven't watched much outside of Goodwill Hunting, but like I've been really considering watching. Have you guys ever seen the show Peaky Blinders?
Yes.
I-
Peaky
it's in
Blinders
my
is
queue.
good.
Yeah.
You
It's
got to
really
watch
good.
it with subtitles on because it's a little hard to understand for me.
What,
Super
they have
Irish.
really thick accents. I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than me really considering watching that show, I almost bought a movie today at work because I felt like watching something over my days off that wasn't like, you know, podcast related, just some movie. And that's why me and Tyler, we were looking at like Casino, Martin Scorsese movie, and we were looking at Green Book. But that's when I got caught up, and he told me that I could buy this Xbox back here, and I bought the Xbox. And I'll have you guys know that I successfully played Fallout New Vegas at 60 frames per second on an
Congrats.
Xbox.
I've been doing that for
Ooh,
10
so
years on the
purdy.
PC.
Yeah, I've been doing that for like 11 years.
Hey, man, but now I can do it on a console, and that's fucking dope.
Hey, one of these days, them consoles are going to be almost as good as our computers were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Congrats.
Hey,
Yeah.
catching up.
Hey, but for real though, New Vegas is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
good
I,
for-
I was just
one of the
talking to
first
my
games I played.
I was just talking to my roommate how I was going to make a new character on there and max out luck and just have the mysterious stranger just solo the game for me.
dude, you'd be surprised at how well that works.
It
Like,
does, dude.
Just get out of
I-
every situation.
Just go to the casino and just get 21 on every hand till they kick me out. It works, dude. You make some money.
Well,
but after you finish Velocipaster, then I need you to follow that up with Spaghetti Man.
Oh my God, we watched this trailer for Spaghetti Man, and it's basically. Do you remember how he became Spaghetti Man? Something happened, and he can now produce spaghetti.
Did he fall into a vat of pasta?
Doesn't matter. He can now produce spaghetti directly from his hands, and then he uses them as.
It was his spaghetti. Microwave. He was heating up old spaghetti, and he went to open it, but it shocked him, and so it was the microwave messed up, and it gave him the spaghetti powers.
Fused spaghetti powers. That's correct.
So he stops crying by throwing spaghetti out of his fingers.
Yes.
So rather than solve world hunger, he decides to fight people.
Yeah. He's
you're gonna feed the whole world pasta.
Oh, that's a great idea, though.
It is.
No, imagine how
really
fucking sick and tired you get of that shit. I don't want your finger pasta today,
I eat spaghetti.
motherfucker.
I eat spaghetti 3 times a week.
Well, you're a privileged
finger
white
pasta.
man in the United States, man. Of course you're fine. I'm sure people around the world might be like, I'll eat pasta every goddamn day.
I'll eat your finger pasta.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have heard about them, but they're called Italians, and I think they eat pasta every day.
Hey!
Uh-oh. It's about to get really offensive, I imagine.
Oh, I thought Tyler was about to do an Italian accent.
I did too. I was like,
No.
please don't. He's learned.
He's learned.
We have listeners in Italy, and I'm certain that they would enjoy it.
They would definitely enjoy it.
Just say, it's a me, a Mario.
It's a me.
Well, now it's offensive.
Wow.
Let's see. There you go.
That was terrible.
There you go. Absolutely.
Just put a
Wow.
sombrero
Is there
on
an Italian
Mario.
in the podcast right now?
Yeah, I thought I heard one.
I thought I heard one.
Yeah.
I was really convinced.
Yeah.
That was really good. I did the whole hand gesture and everything. So.
Wow.
Hey, but seriously, listeners, Spaghetti Man and the Velocipaster.
You should watch the
look it up.
Velocipaster.
I've never seen either one of them.
With you guys a couple times. I know I've talked to at least Logan Henderson about it before.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely you should watch Velocipaster. It might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. There's incredible fight sequences that looks like it's the terrible episode of Barney. So,
How long is it, and where can I watch it?
doesn't matter
Hey.
how long it is.
Netflix,
It's really
right?
short, as a matter of fact. And
Also-
I
I'm
think
pulling
there's a
this shit up.
sequel.
Hey, let me real quick.
Velocipaster
I'm gonna
2?
plug. I want to plug this website, and Austin, you might check this out. It's called JustWatch.com.
Yep. I've
And
talked about it on the podcast before. It's amazing.
No, it's the first time we've ever heard of it. I'm the first one to bring it up.
Oh, great. Here we go.
And you type in what you're looking for, and it'll show you everywhere it's available to stream, and it'll show you the lowest prices, and whether it's SD, HD, 4K.
Hey, man, this movie is an hour and 15 minutes long. It has a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it has a 72% audience score.
There you go, right there.
Can't be that bad.
Can't be that bad.
People know what they like.
I
As
bet
long
it
as
can.
it is,
Horrible.
honestly, as long as it's better than Hobbs and Shaw, I'm all for it, man.
I'm almost positive that you'll appreciate it more than Hobbs and Shaw. So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
it probably is a better
Lots
movie.
of time and effort, and 6 people go into making this movie. So yeah,
You know what? I'm curious. I wonder what Hobbs and Shaw got versus this
Oh,
movie.
at least like a 70.
Oh, you think so?
No,
I'm
I
guessing.
don't.
I'm guessing.
It's probably high audience
Absolutely.
score.
Yeah, it's probably got like a 90% audience score.
Yeah, I'm sure they love
Yeah,
it.
People
give me the
wow.
critic score.
Yeah, it actually has really good scores, and I'm fucking
Yeah.
surprised that it does. So it has
Yeah.
a 67% Rotten Tomato score,
I was
and
close.
then it has a 88% audience score.
Told you.
Mhm.
Hey man, it's the Avengers for muscle cars, all right?
If The Rock's in it, it's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be a
God,
hit.
this, you know what? And I gotta send you
Jason
guys.
Statham.
I'm gonna send you guys this fucking dumbass picture that's on the fucking Hobbs and Shaw Rotten Tomatoes page. Let me send you all this.
Your
You're gonna-
hatred knows no bounds.
Oh yeah. Oh boy,
I feel
howdy.
like I feel like at this point, if we go to Austin's, he's just gonna have a giant, just like figure collection of Hobbs and Shaw characters in a glass case.
You want to know how much of a fucking joke this movie is? Look at this picture I just sent in our group message. Like, I don't even remember like what character that is, but like what, the movie's bad. But why you gotta put it on blast like that? You feel me?
That makes me want to watch the movie even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No!
Can we take this picture and post that on the Twitter?
I've got to know what's going on here, so I will be watching Hobbs and Shaw again.
Yeah,
no,
that's has something
Hold
to
on.
do.
Let me
with
use this
them.
justwatch.com that we just learned about and see where it's available.
There you go.
no.
I think somebody just added to their streaming. So
Oh yeah. Oh, it's on HBO Max. Speaking of,
HBO Max.
There it is. There it is.
There you go. There's your plug. There's your weekly plug. HBO Max.
We
Give me
found
my
it.
money.
We found it.
guys,
Oh,
I'm watching
damn
Hobbs
pity.
and Shaw right now on the
Well,
podcast.
I want
in
to
the
tell you
background.
guys about.
Yeah,
I
let's go with Mr. Logan Henderson.
have a little bit of a
real
hot
quick.
take here.
Here
So
we
I
go.
watched.
I don't think
the-
it's a hot take, but go ahead.
I watched. All right, you'll see. I watched the DaVinci Code, and
The
last time I'd watched it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool little adventure movie, and it had some,
Hold
weird-
on. Have you read the book?
I have not read the book.
It is excellent. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, I looked into it. I know it's like almost nothing, like what's going on, but then I was like, what's a movie that's like this? Because I came away from it thinking that was way worse and way more stupid than I remember. Like it was really fucking dumb.
I rewatched the DaVinci Code not too long ago too, and I thought it was way too long for its own
It
good.
is too. Yes, exactly.
It's way too long. Like I
It's-
felt like I
it's
was
like
sitting in my
40
chair
minutes too long.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was one of the things that I didn't like either. Like it just kept going on and on and on, and like the acting wasn't good. Even Tom Hanks' acting wasn't very good in it, and it kind of surprised me. So then I was like, well, what's another kind of adventure movie with some like history and things in
National
it?
Treasure.
And I went to National Treasure and I watched the first and second one.
Yes,
Better
sir.
movie. Better movie. It just is.
Yeah.
Nick Cage
Um,
beats Tom Hanks here. It's just a
You
better
know what?
movie.
That is something that you will not ever hear in any combination of words
Nope.
put in a sentence before. Yeah.
I mean,
Nick
can
Cage
I-
beats Tom Hanks.
It shouldn't
me
make
just throw
sense,
out
but
real
it does.
quick.
Not even in a fist fight.
I don't recall ever watching the DaVinci Code ever, but I've seen National Treasure at least 15 times.
Same.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I almost could recite the entire movie as I watched it. Like it just,
I don't know.
and
I feel like I like National Treasure, man, but I feel like National Treasure. Like I do agree that I think it's a better movie, but at the same time, I think DaVinci Code is a little bit more intricate, like with its puzzles that they do. Like
it's
in order to
definitely
find, like,
more
it's
like it's like
it's big. It's big brain movie,
Dude,
bro.
it's like the
National
thinking
Treasure-
Way
man's
more
National
nuanced.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah.
National
It's a
Treasure is
thinking
just the
man's-
Disney version of The Mummy.
Yeah,
No, it's
Okay.
like
Just stick with me. Stick with me.
the Mummy's kind of Disney. Like the original ones, they were kind of dumb. So
Dude, the Brendan Fraser Mummy in 4K is probably one of the greatest purchases I've made in the past 10 years.
I loved
don't know
him.
what you guys.
I loved him.
Rubyen.
growing
Oh,
up, man.
yeah.
Rubyen,
Go back and watch
don't-
Scorpion
Rubyen,
King.
Don't forget, I have the
don't
Mummy
count that.
Returns on VHS. So if
I
you
don't
ever
count
want
the
to like,
Scorpion King in the can. It's not. It's bad.
Yeah.
The CGI of it.
Yeah. I just like the first one.
But yeah, I really enjoyed National Treasure 1. I did get annoyed
course.
how they don't talk like regular people, and I know they're not regular people, but like I just keep thinking whenever Nick Cage would be like, "Oh, this is what it is," and then someone would be like, "Okay, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, this thing happened in this year," and they just go on, and I just am like, everyone I know, including me, would be like, "Shut the hell up! I don't care about that at all. Like I do not care. Just tell me where do we go next. Like I don't." I don't care, dude. Just move on. Like it's the same thing. Like they go on
But
a little bit
it's
too long.
teaching you history as you go along. That's the thing that you want to take away from that. It's an adventure where you learn about history.
Yeah, I mean it's nice, but I already know a lot about American history because I love history.
The
So-
history of our great nation.
Yeah, we've done some fucked up shit though. So I don't know about
Yeah,
great.
we have. We have, definitely.
Great again. No, that's the wrong. That's the wrong word.
But for who? All right. Any other movies that you'd like to add?
For me, that
Yes.
is, I think it. I know I watched some other stuff. I just can't. Apparently, I didn't give a shit enough to remember it. So I'm having a
Well,
hard time remembering a lot of stuff right now.
There are 4 movies that I'd like to talk to you guys about.
oh shit.
Here we go. I'm going to condense this as much as I possibly can. The first movie I want to talk about is Nomad Land. It's the Frances McDormand movie that is up for Golden Globe
Right.
Best Picture, and it's probably going to end up, it's going to be an Oscar nominated as well. It's one of those that I actually ended up watching with my wife. It is a very, very well-made movie. acting in it. It doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. That's the thing that I really enjoyed about that. It's Francis McDormand and David Strathairn. I think it's how you pronounce his last name.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I mean, it feels like you're watching a documentary about people that have to move around, and it's about this nomad life and like kind of living out of your van and stuff like that. Really, really, really incredibly well-made movie. It's very, very, very
looks like a pretty small cast.
Super small cast, and it also incorporates like real life people that actually, participate in this nomad lifestyle. They play an active part actually in the movie itself. Like I said, very well made. It doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. It doesn't feel like Frances McDormand is even, an Academy Award-winning actress. It just feels like she is part of this community. Again, go watch it. You'd really enjoy it.
Okay.
The other movie I wanted to talk about is Silk Road. Silk Road is it's the movie that basically about Silk Road and kind of its creation and the downfall of the creator of Silk Road. It's not a bad movie. Just not kind of the highest quality movie that's out there right now. It's done by the same guy who actually did Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is just an incredible film.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I just didn't expectations coming from Nightcrawler into Silk Road. It's got some really good parts and pieces, and it weaves in and out of the story that is the true story behind the guy who created Silk Road. And if you don't know the story behind it, Silk Road was this. Basically, they called it the Amazon for drugs, and you could kind of get whatever service that you wanted on there, and it was all funded through Bitcoin, so it was practically untraceable. And there was a cop that did some shady shit and some straight up old school detective tactics, and it allowed him to be able to infiltrate and kind of bring down what was Silk Road. Not that you can't still do all that stuff on the dark web right now, because there's a billion Silk Road copies that are out there running currently. So
for sure.
But if you like that kind of movie, check it out. Silk Road. It's available for rent right now, I believe. If you want to check out Nomad Land, Nomad Land is actually on Hulu right now. So if you subscribe to Hulu, go check it out. The other two films that I want to talk about are directly related to the film that we're going to be talking about today. So before we get into Goodwill Hunting, the two films that I want to talk about are Drugstore Cowboy and My Own Private Idaho. And these are both movies that are directed by the director of Goodwill Hunting, Gus Van Sant.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're into the type of film, if you really like Goodwill Hunting, you can kind of see why they brought Gus Van Sant into directing this film whenever you go back and kind of watch some of his previous movies. And he's really good at being able to, communicate this idea behind kind of the youth that finds itself into a fucked up situation and either finds their way out or doesn't. And he has made a collection of some of them are very hard to watch because of the content that they actually, portray. And like specifically Elephant. Elephant is a Gus Van Sant movie that I think we're going to talk a little bit about when we dig a little bit further into Goodwill Hunting. But Drugstore Cowboy, really, really good. And if you want to see Keanu Reeves at the height of his acting chops, and Keanu is not really known for the guy who is the highest quality actor that's out there. He's incredible at kicking somebody's ass and, running through a building and shooting everybody inside the building. But he's never been really known for, being this super high class actor. You actually really get to experience that in My Own Private Idaho. Is him.
That's the only one that I've seen of the other ones you mentioned. And I really like it.
incredible. It's he and River Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix's older brother, River Phoenix, that tragically ended up passing away of a drug overdose, and super young man that ended up dying. Very similar to something that ended up happening to like Heath Ledger. Super tragic end to a very incredible actor. So before we dive headlong into the film, I would like to take a break for a minute, and everybody smoke them if you got them, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Podcast the Movie, the podcast. So you guys have anything else to add before we jump headlong into Goodwill Hunting?
Nah, I think I'm ready to talk about this wicked awesome movie.
Hey, yeah, my boy's wicked smart.
Give us your best Boston accent. Go, Austin.
I don't know what a Boston accent is.
Oh, good job. That was good. God damn, that was so perfect. Watch any movie with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and yep, it's right there.
Yep.
Are they from Boston?
Yes. So
Boston?
Massachusetts.
They just drinking Sam Adams the whole time.
Yeah, after they got their Dunkin'.
So, are you guys done yet?
Yeah, we're done. Just go ahead.
Okay, cool.
For now.
For now. Oh, it's going to be lots of that. So,
yep.
This film, I mean, it is commonly known that this film is written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. As a matter of fact, they ended up winning the Oscar for best screenplay, best original screenplay, directed by Gus Van Sant, and starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and probably one of the most important figures of my life, Mr. Robin Williams. So, real quick, I guess this is a common theme on this podcast, which is, I've gone back, and this is probably the 50th time that I've watched Goodwill Hunting. I know that Rubyen, you've seen it before. Logan, you've seen it before.
Oh yeah,
Austin. So this is your first viewing of Goodwill Hunting.
That is correct.
I was talking to Rubyen the other day, and we were having a conversation about, if I could go back and watch this movie again for the first time. Tell me your thoughts on it, man.
Well, man, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. I thought it was a great movie. I mentioned to Tyler just the other day, I want to say it was 2 days ago when I came into work. It takes a lot for a movie to make me want to cry at the end, but boy howdy, I don't know what parts we're going to talk about first or last, but just jumping straight into that scene, like one of the last scenes he has with Robin Williams when they're in the
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Like, man,
God damn, man.
That whole scene, man, I was just like, no, bro. And it almost got me. Like, I felt the tears in my eyes. Like, it was very emotionally powerful. There's no other way for me to put it. But it's also one of those movies too that I was really invested in the whole time. Like, it also takes a lot for me to sit down and actually be just nonstop paying attention to the movie, not picking a phone up and not checking stuff. Like, I was into it from beginning to end. I mean, I'm not saying the movie's perfect. I mean, I could probably, if I sat here and thought about it, I could probably think of a thing or two that I didn't like. But overall, the amount of good that movie does, it very much so outshines anything that may have been, bad in terms of whatever, like cinematography or anything. Like, the movie was great. And honestly, seeing it for the first time, loved it. I thought it was a great choice. I was unsure about it when you guys mentioned it in the group chat because I had never seen it. Love it. Thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Nice.
It's awesome, man.
Glad you like it. It's one of those movies that kind of like Shawshank. When we watch that, it's just universally praised. I don't know anyone that doesn't like this movie. I mean, at all.
Well, and and that's another thing too. And I don't know why you said that, and it reminded me. But I also told Tyler today that I think this is the first Robin Williams movie that I've seen like from beginning to end all the way through.
Crazy.
So,
that's wild.
I've seen bits and pieces of like Jumanji, and I've seen bits and pieces of Mrs. Doubtfire. But other than those two movies, like
I understand I understand now why you have like 150,000 gamer score.
Oh,
because you've seen no movies.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't watch anything, man. I really don't. Like, that's why I'm like, man, I kind of like watching TV shows because they're shorter than movies, and I can get a lot of them out within a week or something.
So, hey, real quick, just to take over for a second, guys. The Golden Globes happened earlier today, and you talking about that funny Amy Poehler bit she did earlier was like, in this past year, we've all just been watching content, and I hate watching movies. I hate it. I hate watching something for 2 hours. But I love watching TV shows. I love watching something for 1 hour, 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing, dude. Like, I get bored sometimes watching a movie to the point where I have to sometimes watch a movie in 2 halves. But I can play a fucking video game for 5 hours straight,
I don't know, man. Maybe
I can watch a TV show for 5 hours straight.
Well, maybe it's because I would say that's probably because the structures of TV shows are a little bit different than movies. Because I think TV shows, a lot of them are meant to keep you in, like they're suspenseful. They want to keep you watching it as much as possible. Whereas a movie, like a lot of the time, you're waiting halfway through the movie to get to the punch, even sometimes later than that. So yeah, I get it. Sometimes movies can be slow, and TV shows.
R.I.P. Quibi.
Yeah, it's just Quibi. To me, it makes a big difference on if the enjoyment of it and the pacing. I think pacing is something that people struggle with in movies, with it being long form. I'm the same way, where I've gotten to where I will watch movies in halves too. Like I'll pause in the middle of it and then go do something for a little bit, a couple chores, and then come back. But there's movies that just nail it. Like the most recent example I can think of is when we watched Arrival. And I already gloated about how much I loved that movie, and it was one of the, to me, defining sci-fi movies ever made. I didn't pause that movie once. Like, I was in it from beginning to end, and I was enthralled the entire time. And I think it really speaks to everything working together. You can have a great story, but if it's not presented well or acted well, you lose it. You can have great actors and a great story, but if the pacing is off or if it goes on too long, it loses a lot. And, I talked about show don't tell a lot in the Arrival episode, and that's one of the ways where you can't look away or be on your phone because you're missing the movie. You can't just think, well, I'm listening to the dialogue, I can keep up. No, the what you're seeing is the story. And I think that I love that use in storytelling in movies and visual media, and I think that more of it needs to happen. I think that's how you keep people engaged.
Austin mentioned it about this movie too. Like, he said this was a movie for him that he didn't pick up his phone. Like, he was in this movie when it started. And I, watching it this week too, I came across that same thing. This is one of the first times in a while where, like, I started watching the movie, and next thing I know, the movie was over, and I was like, oh wait, it's been 2 hours already. Like, I just watched that whole thing. Like, dang, like, this movie really just kind of takes you from act to act the whole time, and there's just a constant progression of storytelling.
It really just brings you in. The entirety of the film, it just brings you in. And, it's a combination of, incredible writing, incredible acting, direction is great, and the whole time you're listening to a Danny Elfman soundtrack playing in the background as well.
Pre-Spider-Man.
Like, yeah, pre a lot of the stuff that, Danny Elfman is known for. So, and, his light tinkling tones are definitely called out throughout the entire film. So just a little bit of backstory on the making of this film, how this film actually got made. So for those of you who don't know, Matt Damon actually went to Harvard, and Harvard, and he wrote this film, a version of what this film was while he was in Harvard, and turned it in as a project, completely against, what the teacher was actually looking for, but they really enjoyed the script that he was actually able to create. And it was kind of the basis behind what this movie was going to become. But, I mean, look, it takes somebody with a severe amount of intelligence to be able to pull off the acting that is required in order to be able to make this movie. Super long monologues, throughout the entire thing, whether it is the problem-solving aspect or talking about the NSA or just, waxing poetic on, the history of the American colonies, just to be able to try to show somebody up inside of a bar. There's so many aspects to this film that it couldn't have been done if it was a Keanu Reeves, for instance, trying to be able to play that part. And, it took a lot for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, writing partners, to be able to get down together and work on this screenplay. And they had sold this idea. I can't remember the name of the company. I could actually look it up if I wanted to, but
Castle Rock.
So it might have been Castle Rock and Rob Reiner and everything like that. And so, but it was originally going to be made, but they were not going to make the film with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in it. And there was this entire other plot line that was in there about it was this government organization that was seeking out Ben Affleck's character, and it's almost like a James Bondy kind of spy thing.
Be a thriller.
And instead of being the thriller, so they ended up bringing basically a script doctor in, William Goldman, who he's very well known for the crazy amount of like script doctoring and stuff like that that he had done. But they brought him in, and he swears that he didn't write this thing. It's kind of been one of those things that they always say that, it's 100% it's a William Goldman script. But he swears that the only thing that he ever did was tell them that they needed to focus on the relationship between Matt Damon's character and Sean Maguire, the Robin Williams character. So it became more about that and the relationship that they had. And they lost all of the thriller aspect to it, but it also allowed them to be able to add, this edge of, comedy mixed with the brutality and the conditions that they, that Will grows up in. And you kind of get to see this world through the eyes of, Will Hunting and, the shit that he went through. And, we finally get to see it at the end of the film whenever Sean is opening up Will's file and you see him, he got beat to shit. And, he talks about, being stabbed by his foster father and just all this other shit. And, that it plays against this idea of comedy and camaraderie that he has with, Ben Affleck. And you can see that these guys are really friends. There is no pretending like they're friends. There is no, acting like these guys are friends. These guys are friends. And the fact that, kind of the third person to the group, Morgan, is Casey Affleck. So Ben Affleck's little brother, and he is just an incredible actor in his own right. If you haven't seen, it's a very, very long movie. A lot of people didn't like it, but it's one of the best Western movies that's ever been made, which is the Murder of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, starring Brad Pitt, Casey Affleck. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a great film.
And you mentioned real quick Brad Pitt. Just something I was reading before was that originally when they were kind of shopping this script along, Matt was just trying to sell it. He wasn't planning on being the actor, and they were going to get. They
kind of ended up. They were going to fuck him out of being able to make this movie as well.
Yeah, they were going to take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so supposedly Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were going to be the leads, which makes sense. It's it's the late 90s, it's mid 90s.
Yep.
Could you imagine a Brad Pitt Leo version of this movie though, where they're just doing a Boston accent? And
crazy.
I don't think I would like it, to be honest. Like Leo would obviously be the Matt character, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Brad Pitt would be like the Ben Affleck.
If you had like 90s Leo and Brad Pitt, I think it's different than if you had like later on down the road. Brad Pitt has been a good actor pretty much the whole time. I actually think Leo was not that good of an actor start early on. and he really
go back and watch Basketball Diaries. Go watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I beg to differ.
I mean, he obviously had the talent, but there's
Yes.
what I'm saying is like the growth was much more there with Leo. I think Brad Pitt always had this gravitas about him. I think that Leo developed later on, and that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying he was bad necessarily. I know I did say he wasn't that good, but I still mean like I just meant like in comparison.
Right.
I think that they maybe could have pulled it off, but it is like when you mention like the friendship between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, like that is something that you can only fake so much of in acting that you get naturally with those two. The thing that
not only that, but like whenever all four of them are together, there's a language that they have between them that allows them to be able to poke jabs at each other and like say things without actually saying things. Like the scene where they're sitting at the table together and they're all telling jokes and shit like that, and it's Ben Affleck, fucking with Casey Affleck, and it's just that there's a back and forth that they have right there.
Was I fucking talking to you?
Yeah, and it's
like close your ears, mind your business.
That's shit is only present between like dudes that are friends. I mean, and man, I'm telling you, there's so much of that shines so true in this film. That kind of it's those pieces, playing against the sadness, playing against this whole idea behind what Will Hunting is going through. You also have to consider the fact that the character that is Will Hunting in this film is 20 years old. Whenever they
get a
release him,
27-year-old Matt Damon.
Well, whenever they release him from this, from whatever this mandatory probationary period that he is going through, he's 21. They celebrate his 21st birthday. He can actually go out and get a drink legally.
Yeah, talk about some white privilege. He almost beat a guy to death in public at the park, and then fought a cop after his like third or fourth aggravated assault. And then a Harvard professor just happens to come into his hearing and talks the judge out of it.
Well, it's because he's wicked smart. So
he's wicked smart. So
wicked smart.
Yo, this kid could work for the NSA.
And yeah.
I think for
legit
me
could work for the NSA.
What I appreciate maybe the most about this movie is the way that it looks at trauma and mental health. That's something
absolutely
that really didn't get done a lot back then, and it still doesn't. It doesn't. It's not something that really. I mean, there's always undertones or something like that, but it's never something that actually gets focused on. And the lessons that are learned are through understanding your mental health. And I really loved that side of it. And I'm not saying that I am a genius. I just want to say that before I say this. But I had a lot of problems with like imposter syndrome growing up because I just try really hard, like in everything I do. That's just my personality. So I always am like, I don't think I'm necessarily super good at anything that I would be successful at. I just give a shit, But whenever you get told that and you have, depression or anxiety or whatever it may be, you always come up with an excuse as to why you can't do it. And so Matt Damon's excuse is, well, look, this is just who I am. This is how I grew up. I don't want to change that. I'm content with this. And
never moving out of Southie.
Yeah, and
we're gonna get a house together. We're gonna go to ball games together.
Play a little t-ball.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's interesting because they kind of set up the professor role, Lambo, is that his name?
Yeah,
to be kind of like the antagonist, but he's not wrong. He's legitimately trying to
kind of a dick.
I mean, he's a dick about
he's
it,
not wrong.
But his intentions
are
good.
He also sexually harasses his students.
Yeah,
times.
Yeah, that whole scene does not age well, but that's just
this movie
that's
was made
Lambo.
by Weinstein, so.
Well, that is 100% true. So that's Lambo, his way of being able to still be relevant to the crowds, and the way that he can be relevant is by talking about his own genius. Yeah. And that's the difference that you get between his character and Will Hunting, which is Will Hunting does not talk about his genius. He knows he's a genius. He knows things that just come easy to him. He understands that. The way that he explains that is really brilliant in the film. And, the comparison to, what is it, Bach or Beethoven,
Bach, yeah.
Being able to, it just, the piano, just comes naturally to them. And he does the same thing. He doesn't know whenever Skylar asks him, do you have a photographic memory? And he's like, well, I don't think that I have a photographic memory. I just kind of remember things. And, there's a level of intelligence, and it really takes somebody that is intelligent to be able to find that comparison and be able to make that comparison inside of the script for the movie that you're actually acting in. I think that's something that has really helped Matt Damon throughout his entire career, is that level of intelligence that he has. And, whenever you see him in something like The Bourne Identity, and just the level of intelligence that role actually requires, whether it is the physical intelligence or the actual, intelligence of learning the different languages that you have to be able to speak, and be able to speak them to such proficiency so that it sounds like that you're fluent in all these different languages and can do all of these different things. There's a level to that. And, I guess kind of the whole reason why we are doing this film right now is because, I just got done reading the book, The Martian by Andy Weir. Mm-hmm. If you haven't read it, haven't listened to the audio book or anything like that, check it out. My wife had never actually seen the movie The Martian, and so we watched The Martian together. And it is, his presence in that particular movie really made me want to be able to do a Matt Damon movie.
Yeah.
And
he nails it really well.
He does.
The book is almost more like reading a science book than
Correct.
There is a lot of numbers and science in the book, and they have some of that going on as well. But I think that the script was watered down a lot with that stuff. But
had to be.
Yeah, of course. But Matt Damon still brings that, like, this guy's fucking smart, and that's why he's able to succeed.
He presents a level of intelligence,
yeah,
and he feels like a dude that would just be smart.
Yeah.
And that is very, very, very present in this film as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Austin, I wanted to ask Austin another question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you hadn't seen any other Robin Williams movies, really. I think if you're wanting, like, serious Robin Williams, then the next logical one to watch would be Dead Poet Society.
Dead Poet Society, just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
There's, Dead Poet Society, very much like this film. And no spoilers or anything like that for a movie that actually came out in 1989.
I don't know anything about it, so I love jumping into movies like that because, like, it's just like this movie. It's so old, but, like, shit, I don't know jack shit about him.
There's a moment in the film, and everybody that's seen it knows the moment that I'm speaking of.
Yep.
And if you can hold your shit together in that moment, you're more of a man. You're more of a man's man than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing about Robin Williams, and a lot of people don't know about Robin Williams, is that Robin Williams is a Juilliard trained actor. He is, he's kind of known as, the funny guy, in a lot of the ways that, Jim Carrey is known as being the funny guy. But we know that Jim Carrey can play those super fucking serious parts as well and be able to touch you in a way that, somebody who always plays a serious part, you don't really get. And I think that, Robin Williams was brilliant for being able to play the funny part, but also he knew that whenever he had to play it serious, that, there's a fine line between being hilarious and being tragic. And he is able to cross that bridge very well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we know probably why that is. Because that's describes him as a person. That's
100%.
That's naturally him, and so you could tell.
Yeah.
Looking back in hindsight at these movies like that, after what happened, you're like, man, you start to look at it differently. You're like,
Yeah.
it makes a lot more sense why he legitimately is able to channel just sadness, like whenever he's talking about his wife. And of course, every time he talks about her, it's all about happy thoughts and happy memories with her. But as soon as Will was starting to shit talk a little bit, and he got real serious real fast, and he was thinking about it later that night, you can just, it's
that moment.
It's hard after Robin Williams passing, knowing what he was going through.
Absolutely,
you're like, man, you can just imagine he probably actually was doing that in real life, and it's tough.
Well,
man.
yeah, it's the clown that wears the smile on the outside, but is filled with darkness and sadness on the inside. Not that to say that he always was, but like Robin Williams, he had always struggled with addiction. And, he had a huge cocaine problem for a long period of time, and that damn near ruined his entire life. If you know anything about like his stand-up comedy career, there's one of his stand-up comedies that you can actually go watch. It's Robin Williams Live at the Metropolitan Opera Theater, and it's quite possibly it's one of the most brilliant pieces of comedy, stand-up comedy that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I watched it way too young in my life.
Yeah, he was
to be able to have an understanding.
Surprisingly, like a very R-rated comic.
Oh my God, just
very much
so fucking hardcore R-rated comedy, and it is incredibly brilliant. His stand-up comedy, and I would love to have been one of those people that was able to see him or just meet him. Because like I said, he was very influential on me growing up. From Dead Poet Society, go back a little bit. So,
Jack.
Whenever you see things, Jack later on. But, growing up watching things like, and I know this is kind of old, too old for you guys, Mork and Mindy growing up. He's the comedy guy,
Hey, man.
blah, blah, blah,
Hey, man.
TV show.
I'm not that far off from you. Okay?
I got you. Yeah. But
I watched a lot of Mork and Mindy on reruns.
Mork and Mindy growing up. But whenever you start getting into his actual his film career, you have The World According to Garp, which is just incredible film. Moscow on the Hudson, where everybody kind of starts to see the genius that is Jim Carrey. That is Robin Williams. Is Good Morning Vietnam.
Yep.
Good Morning Viet. Yeah, man. So in Good Morning Vietnam, you kind of get to start to see the brilliance of being able to the seriousness with the comedy kind of play together.
What
and
sucks
then you
for me
see
though is growing up. Just sorry to interrupt you, but watching Jumanji, watching Mrs. Doubtfire, knowing that he is the genie, and then I'm 13.
For Aladdin, man.
Yeah, and then I'm 13 and I go, ooh, 1 hour photo. I bet that's funny. And I watched 1 hour photo, and it fucking scarred me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
wow.
Even things like Awakenings. I don't know when the last time you went back and watched Awakenings, if you guys have ever seen it. It's actually based on a true story about he plays a doctor, and there was a bunch of patients that were basically practically comatose or locked in their own bodies. And when introduced to a very specific drug, it actually woke them up from that. And it's very, very crazy film. And you get to see all these different movies, Patch Adams, What Dreams May Come is kind of another one of those that I really can't go back and watch. And, because it's Robin Williams and death. And then you get to, 1 hour photo. Insomnia is actually really, really good. Will we get to a film? Let's see if I can get to that. Let me scroll down. What was the name of that? Oh, here it is. It's a film that's actually written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. It's a film called World's Greatest Dad. Do you guys know about this film?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I recall it. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it though.
Not to give the film away, but it's about a guy whose son writes poetry. He writes terribly. That he actually writes, but his son accidentally ends up killing himself, and so Robin Williams pens a suicide note and then puts it next to him, and then starts finding notes that are written by the son, but they're not written by the son. It's terrible. The whole thing is it's a horrible portrayal of what a father should be. Yeah. And it is incredibly hilarious, but incredibly dark in a lot of respects. And Bobcat Goldthwait and Robin Williams were best friends. And if you want to watch watch an interview, there's an interview of Bobcat Goldthwait on Joe Rogan's podcast from back in the day, and right after Robin Williams had committed suicide, and you really get to see who Robin Williams really was through the eyes of his best friend for 40 years, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah, I started to lose a little bit of love for Robin Williams kind of in the late 2000s, just because he made some real shitters. He made that.
He didn't like Flubber.
He did Flubber was 90s, and it was bad too. But
yeah,
also like the freaking biker movie was awful. It was real bad, and then he did. I didn't like. Fuck, what's the name of that movie?
Not at the Museum.
Yeah, well, like Night of the Museum was pretty bad, but at least he was interesting in it, Yeah. Like, his part was good. The RV movie, that was the one I was thinking, awful.
Yeah, RV.
Yeah, man. So I was...
Well, so he went through a phase of making these kids' movies, which were super, super popular in the early to mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And, everybody was making them. Ice Cube was making them. Everybody that was kind of known for something else became known for making these very family-friendly, very take your entire family out to a film night. And, look, you can see kind of the reason why he was making that. He has, Robin Williams actually has kids, and his daughter Zelda, and just the ability for them to be able to go watch one of their dad's movies. Although it's not the greatest movie, but, it's still like one of those silly comedies that the entire family can go see.
Yeah, it kind of sucked that's kind of what he left towards the very end. I actually think that like Night of the Museum was like at least his part in it, because it was very wholesome and it was the same type deal. Like I thought that was like at least he had that. That was like the second one was like one of the last movies he did. So yeah, I just remember seeing that, and then I got to the point where I was like, man, he just kind of makes bad stuff now. And then he passed away, and then I felt bad. I was like, man, I shouldn't be thinking that about him. He made so many great things. Like I watched Aladdin so much growing up, like, so often. Like he literally, like, amazing portrayal in that. And whenever they were gonna make the Broadway version of Aladdin, I was like, man, how are you gonna recast the genie? But it turns out the guy who did it was actually fucking awesome. So they managed to do it. But yeah, he's like on another level. No, not that one. I'm talking about the Broadway.
Oh, not that one.
Yeah, okay. Not that shitter.
I actually really liked the new Aladdin movie. I thought it was really good.
It was shit, dude. Okay. It was shit. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's not good.
Well, guys, so steer it back to Goodwill Hunting real quick.
Yeah.
I've been going through some of the early reviews on IMDb, and I kind of wanted to maybe introduce like a new part of the podcast. Just maybe like going back at some of the original reviews from when the movies came out. So this is from Vert2712 in July of 1998.
Okay.
All right. Manipulative but well done. How many handsome mathematical geniuses working as janitors and whose ambition in life is to get drunk and get into as many fistfights as possible have you ever met in your life? The main problem with Goodwill Hunting is that the main character is as believable as Godzilla or Forrest Gump. It takes a lot of suspension of disbelief to swallow Will Hunting's behavior and motivations. At least Forrest Gump was a nice guy. Will Hunting's attitude, which is supposed to be the product of an abusive upbringing and therefore not his fault, gets on your nerves after a while. Sure, it's satisfying seeing poor Will defy the establishment figures, judges, psychiatrists, and snob-rich college students, and getting away with it. For a while. Too bad this got boring after a while, with the viewer always ahead of the story until the predictable finale, but as long as you don't think too long about the implausibilities of the movie's setup, the story is convincingly acted and reasonably well told. Though director Gus Van Sant doesn't show any of the offbeat touches that marked his earlier efforts, the closer he gets here is a weird slow-motion courtyard fight. Robin Williams is fine as always and more restrained than usual. The rest of the cast is adequate, though I would have loved to see more of Stellan Skarsgård's math professor, easily the most interesting character. This is the first review we get in July of 98.
There's a whole lot of wrong in that. But
5 out of 11 people agreed with him.
Well, look, there's a lot of wrong to that, but I can understand the perspective they had whenever they wrote that review.
What do you think they gave it, though, star-wise? Out of 10.
Oh, I bet he gave
7?
it like a 5.
like a 6.
He gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I can
like
see that.
there was some legitimate, like, 'cause I considered, you know how I like sometimes my role on here is I'll come in here and be an asshole to the movie, but so I was like, should I try to find something to shit talk on this? And the thing that I was going to go towards was like, you know, not realistic.
Ben Affleck.
I don't care about Ben Affleck. I was just going to say
I wanted
not
a side
realistic.
story of Ben's character.
But the thing is like that's what makes this a story. Like when he's talking about, you know, like how many people like this do you know? It's like, well, if you made a movie just about some dude who was smart and just went to Harvard and was just good at it, it's like, okay, people do that all the fucking time. Like that's not interesting. You know, you got to tell an interesting story. So, you know.
And you know, I kind of get the criticism about, you know, like the films that Gus Van Sant made versus that one. Specifically, kind of the thing that he is known for, you know, originally, which was Drugstore Cowboy. Drugstore Cowboy was a film starring Matt Dillon and Kelly Lynch. And it's basically about this guy who has a heroin problem and basically breaks into these drugstores and robs these drugstores and steals all the medication from that, and then mixes it down and shoots up, and they just all get fucked up the entire film. But it, you know, there's a point in the movie where he tries to kind of clean up his life, and you get to see the shenanigans that go along with that. But it's a very dark, almost like a very indie kind of film that was made. You know, and I guess this has kind of become a theme most recently on this podcast, which is the films that Gus Van Sant makes. You know, between the films that Gus Van Sant makes, he is actually he's a music video director. So I think that who was the last music video director that we covered on here? But you know, we start seeing that a lot. That these guys that are these, you know, crazy music video directors. You know, he did Elton John and Chris Isaac, and he's known for like David Bowie and Katie Lang and Stone Temple Pilots, and you know, there's a bunch of you know, musicians that he works with, and you know, be able to take that same type of filmmaking style, and be able to incorporate that into, you know, like they said, the fight sequence that you get to see in Goodwill Hunting. You know, to be able to break that down into that slow-mo thing, but, you know, very, very, you know, intimate kind of, you know, movie-making style that they actually use right there. I really enjoyed some of the Gus Van Sant movies that he has made over the years. Specifically, you know, so the thing that he's known for immediately after making Goodwill Hunting is they did a remake of the movie Psycho. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Mm-hmm.
They did a remake of the movie Psycho, starring Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche, Julianne Moore.
I enjoy Vince Vaughn and hate Vince Vaughn at the same time.
I think that's accurate statements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But the thing that you get from this version of it, which is weird, and I don't understand why this film actually needed to be made, it is a shot for shot remake. Same exact choreography, same exact line reading, same exact everything. Shot for shot remake of the original Psycho.
That's like Funny Games,
but made in 1998. So,
well,
there's another review
movie
on there that sounds like something you hear someone say today. Understanding all that the director would like the public to swallow, this movie is a vulgar and preaches a lack of responsibility. It's not my fault. I'm a victim, therefore I can do and say as I please. That sounds like a boomer if ever I heard one. 1998.
Oh man,
everybody's a victim these days. Yeah, that's been going on.
One thing I like about going back and watching, in quotation, older movies, because I mean this movie is almost 25 years old. It's another one of those period piece movies. Like I watch some movies and you can't really tell what, like, when it's set. Some movies you can't tell when it was made. This movie is very like modern, if that makes sense. This movie was a very, like, in a way of the time, very 90s movie, right? And
before cell phones.
Yeah, it's a pre 9/11, it's a pre cell phone.
Yep.
It's a Seinfeld-esque take on American East Coast culture, and even seeing like Minnie Driver, Skylar's character in the movie, going to school, trying to study. She's got her book, she's studying at lunch, she's studying everywhere they go. She's like, this is really important to me, like I'm trying to study, and she's got her old CRT 15-inch computer with a screensaver going and her cool little dorm setup. Like it felt so modern but old.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Like, this whole movie, like the cars, they gift him that car for his birthday, for his 21. The car looks to us, that's a beater, man. That's an old car, but at the time that car was probably 15 years old. But you look at that now, if I bought a 15-year-old car today, it's still a modern car. Like a 15-year-old car, if I get a good deal on it, shit, dude, I hope I could get a 15-year-old car. Because I don't, I sold my car recently. But in this movie, we play that off like, oh, he got an old car, haha, funny. But like, for him, for his 21st, like all the stuff he's been going through, this is the first real freedom he's ever felt. He's always kind of he's felt trapped as I'm always going to live here. I'm always going to be here. I'm a janitor. I work construction. This is just what I'm going to do. Like he's already given up in a way.
Yeah.
And going, and I think, Logan, you talked about this earlier with the take on the movie is this access to healthcare and mental health services and everything. But, another thing is he's not paying for any of it. It's all being provided for him. He's just getting a free ride. And that's something Ben Affleck tells him is like, dude, you have a fucking gift. Like,
yeah.
Any of us out here would take what you have over this to be able to get out of here. And he was wanting to stay there. He was wanting to grow up there and have a family there and have kids there. And I think him finally kind of having that realization, like, I am getting older, I kind of have this ability. This whole movie kind of comes down to that mental health aspect, right? He's been dealing with this whole tragedy his entire life of being a foster kid, an orphan, the physical abuse, mental abuse he's gone through, and his escapism of just reading and studying and being alone, has allowed him to become smart. But at the same time, he has no social cues. He has, in a way, like this kind of form of like Asperger's or spectrum-esque level of thinking, where he even tells Skylar, like, I don't do dates often. Like, I never go on dates. And, he doesn't really know how to talk to people. And, but when he does, he's always entirely too much. Like, he always is over the top. So I think there's this level of intricacy in the movie that Matt Damon wrote out, where it was like, some people may be entirely intelligent and smart, but they're not street smart. Whereas with this character he wrote, he tried to make him a street smart guy, but he was neither, in a way.
Yeah.
I really appreciated how this movie, it felt modern, but old and classic, and it's kind of timeless in a way, but it's a period piece for me, where this is the definition, again, like how Mallrats or Clerks, it's a very Gen X movie, and watching it today, like, it holds up. It's a really good movie.
100% holds up.
You can tell that it has aged for sure. It's weird for me. I hate to be the boomer, but like, they don't make them like they used to. You don't see movies like this anymore.
Well, I hate even saying this. You kind of mentioned it earlier, which is, so the two movies that you just mentioned a minute ago, like Chasing Amy and Mallrats, they're Kevin Smith movies. And if it was not for Kevin Smith, this movie would not have gotten made, because it was the relationship that Kevin Smith had with Ben Affleck from making Mallrats together that allowed their friendship, once basically...
And they're just a bunch of East Coast potheads, just a bunch of Gen X potheads who somehow made their way into the mainstream of Hollywood.
Right. Well, so it's because the relationship that Kevin Smith had with Harvey Weinstein, he actually took this screenplay into Harvey Weinstein's office and put it on his desk and was like, we need to make this movie. And based upon that recommendation, Harvey Weinstein read the screenplay. And there's a Hollywood story about in the middle of the screenplay, there was a very open blowjob sequence that takes place in the screenplay. And they added that in the screenplay because if they sent that screenplay into a movie executive that just didn't read the screenplay, they rejected it based upon other reasons and never said anything about that particular sequence that would never make its way into a movie. It just never would make its way into a movie. And when Harvey Weinstein read the screenplay and was like, hey, what's this whole thing about this blowjob sequence that we're supposed to film in the middle of that? And he is like, well, that's in there just to get everybody's attention, so I know that you actually read the screenplay and you're not passing on this for some arbitrary reason because it's written by basically no-name people, and they were no-name people at the time. Matt Damon he'd done a couple different television shows and had a couple of different movies that really never took off, and his stardom never really picked up. And then the same thing with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was a nothing filmmaker, movie, actor, anything like that. And it's what they ended up, being presented with after this. And Matt Damon talks very openly about this, about after making Good Will Hunting, then it allowed him to be able to have a different type of relationship with a director on the set. The next movie that he actually does is The Talented Mr. Ripley. And Austin, I'm guessing that you've never seen The Talented Mr. Ripley.
That is correct.
All right.
Classic.
Yep. Right on character. And
hold on. Let me spitball some merch ideas real quick.
Okay.
I want cartoon characters. Shit. I want cartoon characters of Austin that says with a speech bubble, "Boy howdy."
Okay.
And then on the back it says, "I've never seen it."
Yes. I've never seen that. Yeah. Well, but in the conversation, Matt Damon's talking about, he actually got a lot more respect from the director and got a lot more input into the filmmaking process because of the accomplishment that he was given because of the movie that he had just made. And, to have the first and only screenplay that you'd ever written be the thing that wins you an Academy Award is, it's crazy. That shit never happens.
Yeah.
And then to go on to be two of the biggest filmmakers of the 90s, 2000s, even now. I mean, for
Matt Damon.
And for Ben Affleck to be in the position that he has been in, where he is not just an actor, he is also an incredible filmmaker. Say what you want about, Ben Affleck's acting throughout the years, but, his ability to be able to find a script or be able to, to find a piece of work. Argo. The Town is probably the
unreleased, never produced Batman movie that would have been just miles ahead of anything released.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
And there's, he has had a very, illustrious career, kind of an up and down thing. He's very well known as being a filmmaker now, but, he is also, he's been Batman. So he's taken that paycheck, and he's one of those guys that openly admits to, he has had substance abuse problems in the past, and but it's through the recognition of that he also gets to be able to do things like there's what's the name of the movie that he did very recently? Just came out like last year, I believe. The Way Back. That's what it is. The Way Back.
The basketball movie?
Yeah, basketball movie where he plays a guy who struggles with substance abuse based upon tragedy that actually happens in his life. And I mean, I really like Ben Affleck. I enjoy the movies that he has been in. Gone Girl being probably just an incredible portrayal of who I really feel like Ben Affleck is at heart. Just kind of a
like that meme picture of him just outside smoking, just going through it. Yeah,
that's it. Just kind of going through it. But go back and watch Gone Baby Gone. And whenever you watch Gone Baby Gone, and it is a movie that is actually I don't know if it's written by Ben Affleck. Written by Ben Affleck, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Casey Affleck, and it is a fucking incredible film. And if you haven't seen it, Austin, I'm speaking to you. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch Gone Baby Gone. You will truly. I don't know if you'll enjoy it because it's kind of a fucked up film to be able to enjoy. But it's a incredible portrayal of what Ben Affleck is capable of as a writer and a director. Yeah. And for anybody that says that the movie was not written, Goodwill Hunting was not written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. It is the perfect mix of the portrayal of who these two young actors are and young filmmakers are that go on to become mega fucking movie stars that we know that they are today.
Yeah,
so.
I would second, if you haven't seen Gone Girl, that's a must-watch. David Fincher. Gotta watch it.
Yet to see it.
Yeah.
So I really should watch that one.
Really, really good. Blew me away.
Have you never seen Gone Girl?
Made me read,
I'm familiar with it.
It made me read the book. It was so good.
Yeah. The book is incredible.
You guys gonna make me read?
Yeah, you gotta read.
Or listen.
That shit's happened before.
Or listen to an audiobook.
Made me listen.
Gillian Flynn is the writer.
Oh, Gillian Jacobs.
Do what?
Gillian Jacobs.
No.
Community. No. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Nope.
Skipping that one.
Nope.
Anybody out there, Gillian Jacobs fans, email us.
Yeah, she also does Utopia, that popular thing going on right now.
It's actually Jillian, I'm pretty sure.
But what's crazy is we're sitting here talking about Gone Girl, starring it's Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike, and Rosamund Pike tonight just won the best actress in a musical or comedy Golden Globe for a movie that's out on Netflix right now called I Care a Lot. So there's a lot of really good stuff that's out there right now. It's so scattered amongst all the different streaming services that are out there right now. And we talked a little bit earlier. You guys were talking about how Goodwill Hunting allowed you to be able to sit still and being a single place and not look at your phone and be able to watch a movie. And it makes me miss going to the theater even more.
Yeah,
because that is the place that if you do those things, if you're on your phone and you're that person that checks your phone while you're watching a movie in the theater, that shit'll get you cussed out by the guy that's behind you.
Alamo
I know
Theater,
because sure. I'm behind you. So I mean that's the that's the thing that I truly miss about going to the movie theater and having that theater going experience.
Undivided attention.
I went to watch Mother with Tyler once, and I pulled out my phone just to silence it, and he just slapped it out of my hand.
I did not. I did probably give you a very, very, very dirty look though. Don't be that fucking guy. If you're gonna be that fucking guy, then A, we can't be friends, and B, I'm gonna go sit on the other side of the theater from you. So
I've only said one thing to a stranger in the theater, and it was whenever The Force Awakens came out. He was down there on his phone, and I let it slide for a little bit, and then I was pissed off, So I leaned over. I said, "Turn off your goddamn phone." And he looked at me.
Yep.
I just stared at him because I was pissed, dude. You don't fuck with my Star Wars. And he turned off his goddamn phone. So
hell yeah, dude. He was like 14.
I don't maybe. I don't know. I couldn't tell.
he was like 5'2".
Fuck you up, little kid.
He was there with his girlfriend, and she just like
she was like 12.
She like looked up and then just looked straight ahead. Like maybe I probably looked pretty pissed off.
Yeah,
because like, look, I was so pumped for Star Wars, man. I was there.
Yeah, of course.
And then halfway through the movie, you're like, "Hey, man, go ahead and play on your phone."
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead and pull your phone back out. Never mind, I was just kidding.
Not true. I've watched Force Awakens at the theater like 5 times. I kept going back.
Yeah, I saw it twice. But guys, hey, like, we're an hour and a half past. I just want to, real quick, I want to do a box office trivia if you guys aren't all tabbed.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm not cheating.
Okay. How much do you think this movie cost as far as budget goes, right? So we're looking at a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, early. They're not big names at all by any means. It's a self-made script. They're shopping this out. Looking at the sets, looking at the design. There's no CG in this. There's no explosions in this. You know, what do you think the cost of a movie like this was? An estimated
15
cost.
to 20 million.
I already know.
12 million.
You guys are pretty good. It's estimated at 10 million at the time.
Yeah.
So, fuck you, Logan.
Well,
Do you know what its box office bring home was, though?
I'm gonna assume a 9 million of that went to Robin Williams.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to know what the worldwide gross? You know, just how much do you think this movie made over time? Tyler, you're out.
Okay. I already know the answer.
It's a $10 million budget, and you know this movie comes out in '97 up against what else was '97? Was that Forrest Gump? What else was '97? We've got The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Selena, Con Air, Event Horizon, Rainmaker, Air Force One.
Oh, Air Force One.
I think,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Good Burger.
I'm willing to bet that the number
Welcome
is
to Good
probably,
Burger.
I bet the number is higher than I think it is.
Yeah, I can't even hazard a guess because I'm really not sure.
Titanic came out in '97, guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, fuck that movie. But
International Man of Mystery.
I'm guessing it made like just like USA or like overall.
Just worldwide. Just say worldwide.
Worldwide, probably 200 million.
see, I was gonna guess a little bit lower. I was gonna say like 150 million.
I almost said
So
150, but I was like,
it did roughly 140 million in US alone, and then it made
Oh,
a
no.
quarter. It made a quarter of a billion, 225
Yep.
million worldwide,
Oh wow.
off of a no-name Matt Damon, Ben Affleck
Yep.
featuring Robin Williams, indie, self-written movie. They turned $10 million into a $250 million off of just this little.
That's nuts.
Like that blows my mind. That blows.
You
my
guys
mind.
understand why they are, Hollywood darlings after this? I mean, for their ability to be able to take and look, they both of them did incredible work throughout the years, and still made time to be able to show up in fucking Kevin Smith movies, which is hilarious. Whenever you see him in the
Matt Damon just shows up in movies. Like
I love
he just shows up.
Matt Damon, he seems like just a genuinely good dude.
Yeah.
His friendship with Jimmy Kimmel, friendship, quote unquote friendship. That whole
Let me put it on the record.
They do.
Let me put it on the record. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah,
Period.
I don't really like Kimmel either.
He's not funny.
But
okay,
his Matt Damon thing is pretty funny though, just because they've literally been doing it for like 10 or 15 years. It's wild.
Oh, way longer than that at this particular
It's fucking
point.
hilarious.
It's hilarious the way that they play off of each other.
I'd recommend though, like just that if you haven't, you need to go watch the Oscars and you need to go watch the acceptance speech that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck did for winning. It's so adorable. And then you need to watch the Robin Williams one where he won, because it just will make you happy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It saddens me to be able to go back and talk about Robin Williams, but his portrayal of Sean Maguire in this film It feels like, I mean, it feels like the type of help that really would have helped out Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know, that particular character. And, you know, to go back to the way that we started this podcast, that scene between Sean McGuire and Goodwill, and Will Hunting, you know, the "it's not your fault" scene, it fucks me up every single time that I watch it. And I've watched this movie a shit ton of times.
Like, I'll say there's very few, if any, movies where, like, maybe I'm a psychopath, but, like, I don't have emotions during movies. Like, I honestly can't think of a movie where I've cried. But watching this movie the other day, it was one of the first times where I was like, I was going like, and I was like stretching my eyes and just like trying to like look into the distance.
I'm fine.
And like,
I'm fine.
no, it's definitely not crying, man.
It's not me. It's
something
it's
like,
allergies,
you know
man.
what, man?
This room is hot.
I'll tell you, you know, I'll be the first one to, if I'm watching something and it just hits me in the right way. I mean, like, I guess as I get older, the thing that I've discovered is, you know, I could be watching a fucking, like, a commercial. There was a commercial not too long ago about this, the dad, and, you know, he has the vehicle, and then he's out there washing the vehicle with his kid, and then his kid goes around the corner and then comes back around the corner, and he's basically handing the kid the keys as he goes off to college, and he's saying goodbye to his son.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that,
I remember
that
one.
moment where you remember that commercial?
Yeah.
And I cried like a fucking baby. And there's a thing that happens, like, after you have kids and you've raised kids and you got kids that are leaving the house, and yeah, man, I will, you know, just shit. The other day watching The Martian, there is a specific moment in watching The Martian where Matt Damon's character, where he just becomes so elated, and watching that, I'm sitting there with my wife on the couch, and I can feel there's a tear that's just falling down my cheek, and I can't do a damn thing about it. And I love to be able to feel that emotion in the moment. And, you know, it's probably the reason why, you know, whenever I'm watching something and it's a comedy, I have no inhibitions. I will just I'll laugh as loud as my body wants to be able to laugh. And if you work with me, then you might be able to hear it across the entire workspace that we have. When something hilarious happens, and everybody
Tyler
will be able
laughs
to,
so loud, and sometimes he'll clap his hands like a fucking penguin.
And then he goes, yeah!
There he goes.
He just does it.
There he goes.
Oh shit! I've
hope it
had
picks up.
customers like
hilarious.
look at me like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I don't know, man."
yeah, it's hilarious. But look, man, you know, it's I guess that's just part of my personality, and being able to, you know, I can, where you talk about, like, I defend the movies, you know, like Broken Arrow. It's because of that. It's because I can see the good in damn near anything, which is why I recommend a movie called Velocipaster.
All right, guys.
I feel like we didn't talk about any scenes in this movie.
Appreciate y'all coming to the podcast. This was the last mention of Velocipaster, so we got to shut it down.
That's what you did.
And I just got to let you guys know that I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
All right. All right, guys.
Hey, real quick, though.
Yeah, go.
You guys like apples?
Oh, yeah. How about them apples?
That was a good podcast.
That was a good podcast. All right. Great seeing you guys.
Easy.
Adios.
Oh, wait.
Next week.
Wait.
Bye.
Wait. Hold on.
Wait.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know. We'll figure that shit out.
Can we watch something
Big Fish?
Something stupid, not Velocipaster?
You want to cry again?
Are you
Let's
sure
watch
you don't
Big
want to watch
Fish.
Velocipaster? Because I'll totally watch it.
You guys want to watch the Royal Tenenbaums?
Actually, yes.
Oh, sure.
Actually,
You can't
I do.
start with Royal Tenenbaums. You can't.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that movie for 3 weeks now.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. If you guys are down for the Royal Tenenbaums, Austin is looking at us like he has no fucking idea what we're talking about.
The hell is the Royal Tenenbaums?
He's right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I'll be honest. It's on my bottom tier of Anderson movies.
Sure.
So I would definitely want to talk to you about it.
Yep.
But
yeah, we got to get some Wes on here real soon.
Real soon.
If that's what we're starting with, that's fine with me. That's up to you guys. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Start at the beginning, work our way through. Come on, guys. Let's do
Bottle
this.
rocket all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. No, Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah,
I'm down.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm ready to jump skip, but is anybody keeping up with Tarantino? Like, where are we at number wise?
We got
30.
This is
We
36.
just watched Jackie Brown, so
This is 36. So we've got a couple more episodes, and then we will be doing Kill Bill.
Oh, fuck yeah!
So fucking excited!
All right, somebody wrap it up. Anybody?
All right, guys. Going back to the wrap up. All right, bye, guys. Love y'all. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you listeners and enjoy reading your feedback. Drop us a line at podcastmoviepodcast@gmail.com. Check out our website at podcastmoviepodcast.com, where you can find all the links to our social media, as well as links to all the major podcasting platforms. If you can subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast listening platform, it really helps us to be able to spread the word. Again, thanks for listening. See you next week.